Hi, my name is Josh from Positive Insight Development, and this is
Darren, also from Positive Insight Development, and today we're going to be talking about basically being present and in the moment. It's something very fresh on both our minds. It's something we've been talking to a lot of people about recently, and it's something extremely important. Going through your life, I think it's a cause of a lot of issues people seem to feel. A lot of depression, anxiety is based upon that feeling. It's people always worrying about what's not happening now, and if it's not happening now and you're letting it affect you now, that's clearly a psychological problem, and it's a painful thing. A lot of people don't realize how destructive it is to their life. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, basically along those lines, what a lot of people do is they have something called future projections, which is basically in their head thinking, okay, well, to give like an example, like if I don't study for this math test, well then I'm going to fail. And if I fail, I can't get into a good college or university. If I can't get into a good college or university, I'm not going to get a good job. And then they just get so into this like negative thought process and this negative cycle that they're so like thinking in the future about nothing that's official. Nothing's going to happen 100% until it happens. So the fact that they're putting all these like ideas into them, they're losing track of what's happening right now and what they have control of, which is right now and only right now.
Exactly. So like you just said, it's destructive in the sense that you're spending so much time worrying about what's coming next that you're missing what's happening now. And the fact that you're missing what's happening now is going to cause that destruction in the future. That's going to cause the problems that you're worried about. And really, to avoid those problems would just be to not think about them. Do what you can do now. Like, certain things are in your control and certain things are not. And learning to identify those really is key to controlling your mind. And this goes for a lot of people, whether you're students, whether you're in your career, whether you're someone like this, someone like a motivational speaker. So you have to be here, you have to be present. If you're at work, you can't be worrying about what reports you have due tomorrow, what your boss is going to say next week, what quotas you didn't miss. You just have to do your best at that job now. If you're a student, you can't worry about what exam is due next week, next month, what your grades are now. You'll never be able to get them up unless you get a 90. That's impossible. Don't worry about that. Just take what you have now on your plate, because there's always enough, and focus on that. Take that a piece at a time, do it, and achieve greatness in the future. Otherwise, you're wasting a present moment, which is really the only true thing that exists, which we know that's the only real thing, is the present. The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't exist, not outside of a textbook or your mind. What's here is this. This is what's here. So living anywhere else than that, really, in my mind, is insane. I think that's the definition of insanity.
One thing I actually want to say that you said is like, just don't think about it. It's very hard for people like that are just learning about like self-development or whatever, or like being present to the moment. It's not really the fact of not thinking about it. It's just being very conscious about your thoughts and realizing, okay, yeah, I'm worrying about the math test, not getting a job, whatever, but if you can kind of catch your thoughts and be like, okay, I'm worrying all this about the stuff that is like, again, future projection stuff that doesn't matter to me at this moment, then you can kind of take your step back, fall out of that negative cycle, and focus it what matters. And then in doing so, you actually kind of get that, like, all that energy you were using for all that thought process can now be used beneficially for the moment of what you're doing or the task that you're doing. And again, what he was saying, how like the future doesn't exist, the past doesn't exist. Essentially, again, what he's talking about is, as humans, we experience nothing except for the present moment, because 5 minutes from now doesn't truly exist, because by the time we hit it, we're experiencing it as now, and 5 minutes ago doesn't exist because we experienced that as now 5 minutes ago. So the only thing we ever have interaction with and power over is the current moment and the current time. So again, just be like very conscious of your thoughts and realize if you're falling into a negative cycle or like falling into future projections, and catch yourself and be present, bring yourself back, be aware. And again, I think that would be like the most like ideology or beneficial way to look about it, if you agree with that or disagree.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, that's one of the most important things, one of the easiest ways. Like, you make a good point on someone trying to begin this, someone trying to pull out of those thoughts, which it's only human nature really to think about what's coming and what has happened and dwell on it. But really the easiest way to break that is to simply be aware. Be aware now that you know. Be aware that when you feel yourself thinking of the future, feel yourself thinking of the future. Be aware you're thinking of the future. And as soon as you reach that self-awareness and you realize you're thinking of the future, you really just break it. You've just broke that thought pattern. You now are actually focused on yourself thinking now about the future, which just made yourself present. So that's really the easiest way to do it, is be aware, like he said, be conscious. Be conscious of your thoughts. Be aware of what your mind is doing. Basically, like Alan Watts said, is basically something along the lines of be the watcher of your mind, basically. Don't just let it be the controller.
And another point that I really want to get across is...
Did I say Alan Watts?
Yeah, you did.
I didn't...
Eckhart Tolle.
Who did I try to...
He means Eckhart Tolle. Be the watcher of your thoughts. But one point that I really want to get across is we're not trying to say disregard all future projections, because those are essentially very beneficial. But use them as a tool to set guidelines for yourself, but don't get stuck in those future projections.
Don't live in them.
Yeah. Basically, realize, okay, you have a test tomorrow. That's not, the test isn't right now, obviously, but what you do have power over right now is to study for it so you can get a good grade.
100%. Like, you can't completely ignore the future, obviously, because that would kind of render you useless. If you know there's a test coming, that's about as far as you have to take it. If you know there's a test coming, know there's a test coming, and do what you have to do about it now. Don't dwell on the fact that the test is coming and you're not ready. Just know it's there, obviously, and then put that away and do what you gotta do to prepare for it, and when it comes, it comes. I've seen way too many people sitting in universities, colleges, even back to high school, sitting in hallways the day before exams, freaking out that they don't know what to do, that they are afraid they're gonna that they're gonna fail, and they're just the complete panic in their eyes. Like, how do you write? That's the destructive part. That's what's gonna make them fail. How do you write an exam in a panicked state of mind? You're frozen, and that goes across the board, whether it's with work, school, whatever the case. Be present. Even in life goals, be present. If you want to go to the gym and you want to build your body, don't focus on what you want to be. Don't focus on having that certain size arms or losing that much belly fat or hitting a target goal weight. Think about it, have it, but don't be concerned, because that's going to lead you to failure, because that's going to always make you think, I haven't achieved that yet. Why haven't I got that yet? It's not happening yet. Be there, be in the gym, focus on the pleasure of the activity. You know, feel yourself pumping the weights, feel the blood, feel the activity level, like feel your heart rate go up, and feel the freedom that it gives you, and just enjoy that process. Mm-hmm. That's big too.
I feel like if anyone were to take out any like quote or any idea from this video, I feel like the only thing you actually have to realize, or if you want to minimize the whole concept, is what you have control over is right now. So use that to the utmost, and in doing so, you'll achieve success and happiness, essentially, because you won't be focused on all these other mundane little things and such. So to do a little quick recap, be very present to the moment in almost all goals and success, even in your daily life if you can. Just being present to the moment, you excuse all like nonsense in your head, so you become very, almost a little bit happier, because there's not these like little things worrying you. So again, to recap, be present to the moment. Don't get rid of all your thoughts, because that's almost impossible. Just be very conscious, be the watcher of your thoughts, and realize if you're falling into like a negative cycle of like future projections. And again, back to it, present to the moment. Again, my name is Josh from Positive Insight Development.
And my name is Darren, also from Positive Insight Development.
Hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.